Dear friends, today's lecture is based on pteridophytes classification and economic importance. The classification of pteridophytes proposed by K.R. Sporne 1975. This classification is included in our syllabus so that we have discussing on the classification of pteridophytes proposed by K.R. Sporne. Okay, K.R. Sporne proposed a classification of pteridophytes which was actually a modified version of Remer's classification. Remer's already proposed his classification of pteridophytes, and this Sporne's classification is nothing but the modification of Remer's classification. Okay, Sporne divided the division of pteridophyta into 6 classes. He put all pteridophytes in 6 classes. Okay, class number 1 Psilopsida, class number 2 Psilotopsida, class number 3 Leucopsida, class number 4 Spinopsida, class number 5 Pteropsida, and class number 6 Progymnospermopsida. Okay, these are the 6 classes. Out of the 6 classes, Psilopsida, which is the first class, and Progymnospermopsida, which is the 6th class, these 2 classes do not have any living representative. Means class number 1 Psilopsida and class number 6 Progymnospermopsida, these 2 classes do not having any living genera. Okay, now we will study this classification as per the important characteristics of these 6 classes. Okay, now class Psilopsida. Now here the very important key characteristic of these classes are this class is given. Number 1, these means Psilopsida members. These are the oldest and simplest vascular plants that originated during Silurian and Devonian period of the Paleozoic era. Okay, their age and simple form suggest that they represent the earliest vascular land plants because their form or they are very simple plants. Okay, all members of Psilopsida, example Rhynia, Xylophyton, Asterozoilon, and Zosterophyllum, are extinct and they are found only in fossil forms. So there is no any representative of Psilopsida. Okay. Number 2, the plant body was sporophytic. Sporophytic means you already know that sporophytic means spore producing plant body. Spore producing structure develops by the plant body. That structure is the sporophyll, okay, or sporangia or strobilus or cone. That structures produces the spores, and that spore producing plant body is called as the sporophytic plant body, which is the dominant plant body in the life cycle of the pteridophytes. Okay, the plant body was sporophytic and differentiated into a slender horizontal rhizome and erect cylindrical stem. So these are the 2 parts of their body: underground rhizome, okay, and erect cylindrical stem. Number 3, their rhizome bore means produces tufts of unicellular rhizoids at intervals. Further, this underground rhizome produces the group of unicellular rhizoids. True roots were absent. Number 4, sporangia were born at the tips of erect branches either singly or in pairs. Okay, occasionally they formed synangia. Sporangia produces on the erect branches. Okay, they are produced singly or in pairs. Occasionally they produce the synangia. Synangia means further they are spore producing structure. Synangia is nothing but the group of sporangia. Either 2 or 3 sporangia are there, and the union of 2-3 sporangia is called as the synangium, plural synangia. And ultimate function of synangia is to produce the spores. Number 5. Their gametophytes are not known. Their gametophytic structure, gametophytic plant body means what? The gametangia producing plant body. Gametangia are male and female. Male gametangium anthridium, female gametangium archegonium. They are not known. Now the class Psilotopsida. This class includes only two living members. Only two living members are included in this class. One is Xylotum, another one is the Mesopteris. Okay, here T is silent, Mesopteris. Number 2, the plant body is sporophytic, differentiated into an underground rhizome and erect aerial branches. So these are the two parts of body of the Xylotum and Mesopteris. Number 3, the rhizome and aerial branches are dichotomously branched. Rhizome and aerial branches both shows the dichotomous branching. Number 4, true roots are absent. Okay. Number 5, the aerial branches have some spirally arranged scaly appendages, example Xylotum, or large foliage leaves, example Mesopteris. Here both type of leaves are present in this class. Suppose they are scaly appendages leaves, example is the Xylotum, and in Mesopteris these leaves are large and foliage. Okay. Number 6, sporangia are born in axils of scaly appendages or foliage leaves. Okay, they are bi or trilocular. Sporangia born in axils of the scaly appendages are develops on the aerial branches. On that axils, scaly leaves axils, these sporangia are develops, example Xylotum, and in foliage leaves, example Mesopteris. And these syringia are bi or trilocular. Okay, means two sporangia or three sporangia are there in the single syringium. They are homosporous. Homosporous means in their life cycle, throughout the life cycle, they can produce single type of spores, or all spores are similar in structure, so they are called as the homospores. And such homospores pteridophytes are called as homosporous. Okay. Number 8, the gametophyte is cylindrical, like a cylinder, or branched, okay, and subterranean, just it is present below the soil surface, subterranean, and colorless. So these are the characteristic of gametophytic structure, which is the cylindrical, branched, subterranean, or colorless. Then class Leucopsida. This class includes both living and fossil pteridophytes. So this Leucopsida class having both mixture of living genera as well as the fossil genera. These plants developed during the Devonian period of the Paleozoic era. Here Paleozoic era spelling is mistake. It is typing mistake, no problem. You just read as a era, Paleozoic era. Number 3, this class has only 5 living genera. This class includes only 5 living genera, namely Lycopodium, Phyloglossum, Selaginella, Isoetes, and Stylites. And the rest of the members are known as fossil form. Only 5 living genera are there, and remaining all members are fossil. Number 4, the sporophytic plant body is differentiated into root, stem, and leaves. All parts are present. 5, both root and stem shows dichotomous branching. Root and stem both shows the frequent dichotomous branching. Number 6, the living forms are microphylous, and the leaf has a single unbranched midvein. Microphylous means leaves are small, so they are microphylous. Okay, and the leaf having this single midrib. Okay, and that midrib is unbranched. Number 7, the leaves bearing sporangia are called as sporophylls, where the leaves toward its adaxial side or ventral side, they produce the sporangia, and sporangia producing leaves are called as the sporophylls, and sporangia are born on the adaxial surface. Number 8. Sporophylls usually form loose or compact cone at the apex of the branch. Here sporophylls either toward the adaxial side of the leaves, as well as they form loose or compact cone at the apex of the branches like a strobilus. Number 9. The plants are homosporous. Homosporous means throughout their life cycle they produce the single type of spores, same type of spores, example Lycopodium, or heterosporous. Heterosporous means they produce different type of spore structures. Some spores are smaller, some spores are larger. Smaller spores are called as the microspores, larger spores are called as the megaspores. Okay, in this way this is again there is तर काय त्याला म्हणायचं बाबा, आणखीन त्याच्यामध्ये डिटेल्स आहेत, पण आणखीन त्याच्या डिटेल्समध्ये आपण काय जाणार नाही. ओके, नाव क्लास स्पिनॉप्सिडा. These pteridophytes evolved during the Carboniferous period of the Paleozoic era and were represented by large trees like a calamites. Okay, this class has only one living genus, that is Equisetum, and about 18 extinct forms. They are extinct forms. Okay, whose preserved remain are known. Example calamites as well as annularia, and these are the 18 forms are extinct form and they are fossil forms. Okay, number 2. The sporophytic plant body is differentiated into true root, stem and leaves. These all three parts are present. Number 3. Stem is branched, articulated, with longitudinal ridges and furrows. So important thing, the stem having the ridges as well as the furrows. Okay, ridges means raised part and grooves means like a pits. Okay, ridges and furrows. It has distinct nodes and internodes. The stem having the particular nodes and internodes. Number 4. Leaves are small and scaly. Leaves are small and scaly. Scaly means very small, needle-like. Arranged in definite or indefinite whorls at the node. They are arranged on the node in whorled arrangement. Whorled arrangement means the leaves are coming from the single point. And okay, they are called as the whorled arrangement of the leaves. That is the phyllotaxy of leaves. Phyllotaxy means arrangement of leaves on the stem. Number 5. Sporangia develop on special stalked structure known as sporangiophores. Some branches of these plants produces the sporangia, and such branches are called as the sporangiophores, which form a compact strobilus at the tip of the stem, and at the tip of the sporangiophore there is a compact strobilus or cone. Number 6. Living forms are homosporous. Living forms, only one is living, that is the Equisetum, which is the homosporous, which produce the single type of spores. But some extinct forms, fossil forms, they were heterosporous. Number 7. The gametophyte is green and autotrophic. The gametophytic plant body is the green, which is develops after the germination of the spore, and that is the autotrophic gametophytic plant body. Number 8. Antherozoids are multiflagellate, and the sperms or male gametes or spermatozoids are the multiflagellate structures. Then class Pteropsida. Number 1. It is the largest and most highly evolved group of Pteridophyta. Now this is the largest group, mostly highly evolved group, having nearly 10,000 species, representing about 300 genera. So it is one of the largest class, having 300 genera and 10,000 species. Number 2. These plants arose during the Devonian period together with other pteridophytes, okay, and were conspicuous element in the flora of the Carboniferous period. So here period is given of this class. Number 3, the sporophytic plant body is usually perennial. Perennial means they can grow more than 2 to 3 years. So that sporophytic plant body is perennial, differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Number 4, they grow mostly in moist and shaded terrestrial habitats. They require moist condition for their growth and shady conditions. But some example, Azolla, Salvinia, Marsilia are aquatic. The plants grows in moist condition and shady condition. On the contrary, some are aquatic. Then Ophioglossum, not Pheoglosum. Sorry for a spelling mistake. You read as Ophioglossum. Ophioglossum pendulum is an epiphytic species. This plant is the epiphytic. Ophioglossum pendulum. Number 5, except for some tree ferns, for example Angiopteris, most Pteropsida have short and stout rhizome. Except this tree fern Angiopteris, majority have short and stout rhizome, which is the underground, no doubt. Number 6, leaves are exstipulate, stipules are absent, usually megaphilous means large and pinnately compound. They are pinnately compound, but lamina is simple in Ophioglossum. If you see the leaves of Ophioglossum, their lamina is the simple. Number 7, the rachis is covered with brown hairs. They are called as ramenta. The rachis or stem of these plants are covered by the ramenta. They are nothing but the brown hairs. Number 8, young fronds are circinately coiled. When the young leaves are developed, young branches are developed, young rachis are developed, that rachis shows the circinately coiling. Okay, they are called as the fronds. Number 9, the plants are homosporous. Example, Pteris, Pteridium. They produce the single type of spores. Or heterospores. They produce microspores as well as the megaspores. Example, Marsilia. And spores are formed in sporangia. And spore producing structure, sporangia are there, and sporangia produces the spores. Number 10, sporangia develops in groups called as the sori. Okay, when these sporangia develops in the group, and group of the sporangia is called as the sori. On ventral side, back side, on ventral side or in the margins of the leaf. Example, sporophylls. Okay, when these sori are developed on the ventral side of the leaves or margin of the leaves, such leaves are called as the sporophylls. Sori producing leaves, sporangia producing leaves or spore producing leaves are called as the sporophylls. Number 11, the spore on germination gives rise to autotrophic prothallus. That is nothing but the prothallus means gametophytic plant body. And here in this class, when spore germinates, it can produce the autotrophic plant body, autotrophic gametophytic plant body. Number 12, antherozoids are multiflagellate. Okay, the sperms or spermatozoids are multiflagellated structures. So here the classification of pteridophytes proposed by Sporne, just we have studied the key characteristic, important characteristic of these classes. Now the economic importance of pteridophytes. Number 1, ornamental uses. Okay, ornamental means decorative uses. Many ferns have been grown in garden for their fascinating evergreen fronds. Just we have studied fronds in young condition. They are circinate in vernation, or they shows the circinate vernation. And due to this, their evergreen fronds, evergreen leaves, these ferns are very decorative in nature, very beautiful in nature. They also grown in pots to decorate the interior of houses. These ferns also growing in the pots as interior plants in the houses, then offices, hospitals and many public places. Okay, for example, estate, and then the private private offices, then the railway stations, like that. The most common ferns are Adiantum, Asplenium, Dryopteris, Lygodium, Nephrolepis, Nephrodium, Pteridium, and Pteris, etc. So, ornamentally, these ferns are very utmost very important plants. Okay. Number 2, green manures. Okay, means as a biofertilizers. A few species of pteridophytes are used as green manures for agricultural and plantation of crops. Okay, in plantation of plants in horticulture and in nurseries and in agricultures, these pteridophytes are used as a green manure. When they are incorporated in the soil, they add organic matter to the soil so as to enrich the soil fertility. Okay. When these ferns are used they are mixed in the soil for raising the plants. At that time, these ferns are used as a organic manure or organic matter, organic material for the plants, or they can increase soil fertility. The example Azolla and Salvinia. These are the two aquatic pteridophytes. They are commonly using as a green manures in agricultural, horticultural, nursery and garden places. Number 3, food sources, and these pteridophytes also works as a food sources. Okay, people in some parts of India use the leaves of Marsilia as a green vegetable in cooking. Okay, Marsilia leaves used as a vegetable. Sporocarps of species of Marsilia sylvatrix and Marsilia drummondi are using for preparation of cake in Australia. In Australia, these Marsilia species sporocarps means spore producing structures. These sporocarps are useful or using in the preparation of the cakes in the bakery. Number 4, feed to the fishes. These pteridophytes also useful as a feed or food to the fishes in the aquatic bodies. In China, Azolla serves as a feed to the fishes. In China, this Azolla using as a feed for the fishes. Number 5, medicinal uses. In Siddha medicine or in Siddha medicine, a drug made from Selaginella botryoides is used in the treatment of liver diseases. Okay, many liver diseases are cured by the drug preparing from the Selaginella botryoides. Then in homeopathy, Lycopodium and Equisetum are used in the preparation of drugs to cure various human diseases like weak memory, ulceration, toothache, dry tongue, inflammation of throat, dyspepsia and diarrhea, etc. Okay. Number 6, gold and minerals indicators. Some species of Equisetum are used as indicators of gold and some other minerals present in the soil. So these are about the economic applications or importance of the pteridophytes. Okay, so this is the book I have used while preparation my PowerPoint presentation, that is textbook of botany, diversity of microbes and cryptogram, written by Singh, Pandey and Jain. Thank you.